way, Jose.
Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
No way.
Red Hot Gotti. Alright, so today I am making another Cobra Kai video, and today we're going to be continuing the marathon up until the 15th when part 2 comes out of season 6. And today we're going to be talking about Tori Nichols, you know, one of the favorite characters of the series that many people like, or maybe many people dislike as well. And it's because she is a very controversial character to some degree. Like, obviously she has a lot of, you know, people who see her as like their favorite character, but she does a lot of things in the series that can be considered evil or like just plain out bad, on the level of like some of the Karate Kid villains like back in the original trilogy, kind of like Chosen. So it's kind of like she's a mixed bag, and overall I'm just going to be talking about why I feel like her character in season 6 just wasn't done well, and why I feel like personally I would have changed things when it comes to Tori and like how her story went with her mother, and just how other characters have treated her in the entire season, and how her character has just transitioned from season 5 to 6. So let's just talk about all that. Now, Tori as a character started out as a character that was very full of life and very energetic, but also had like a soft side to her. You know, she could kick ass, but she wasn't like a complete asshole. You know, she had a sort of an edge to her, and that's what was interesting about her compared to Sam. Like, she wasn't gonna just take shit from anybody, and at the end of the day, you know, she could be a cool person to hang around, but if you screw her over, she is gonna be a problem. When most people see Tori as a character, they're going to see her positive traits, like, you know, she's somewhat energetic in terms of, you know, her mood and, you know, her adventurous attitude. She is also a badass, and she's actually on par with some of the male students as well, which in a lot of other series wouldn't be the case, like Miguel and Hawk and stuff like that. Now, she gets beaten by both, but she is like going toe-to-toe with them, which is cool. Also, personality wise, I think she has a cool personality because she's very outspoken about, you know, what she wants or like how she feels about a specific character. Like when she was talking to Sam, she wasn't just, you know, pussyfooting around like how she felt about, you know, Sam accusing her about stealing her like mother's wallet or mother's purse, I think it was. Because at the end of the day, if you're accusing someone of that, they're going to be upset and they're going to like lash out at you, which is exactly what she did. And you know, that's where she started to develop this feeling of like Sam being a very privileged individual who just hates her, and it's just an asshole who just has it out to get her. Now, this is around the time she started to gain feelings for Miguel. Now, with Miguel, he already had feelings for Sam because in season 1 they were together for a short period of time, and they broke up because of the whole Robbie situation, and the love triangle, you know, was started there. And you know, he was creating this little like slideshow or whatever. The slideshow he was going to show to her afterwards, you know, about the octopus, and you know, it was going to be them two with like the broken heart being put back together, that kind of thing. And then Tori saw that, and I feel like this is where her mindset sort of shifted from like, oh, I'm not going to get involved with this whole like karate war, I'm just going to kind of do my own thing, be a part of Cobra Kai, and just sort of be that silent badass who's kind of just on the side. Then she actually started to get into the confrontation, and she just decided to, like, she developed feelings for Miguel, and she decided to get in a relationship with him to spite Sam. Now, the problem is with this, it kind of makes her character come off as like kind of like screwed up in a certain sense, because it's like, I understand they're teenagers, and at the end of the day, her like hatred for Tori, my god, her hatred for Sam is like understandable because of where she came from, her background, the fact that she didn't have much, that she has to take care of her mother and her brother, and like she's not in a good spot in life, and she already feels like the world's out to get her. And then Sam basically, you know, reinforces that mindset with, you know, how she treats her and accuses her and stuff like that. It's actually screwed up, but I understand again why Sam would do that, you know, seeing Tori as this sort of like rebellious but also kind of like just a character who doesn't want to follow the rules. So I understand that aspect of it. It's just, I feel like Sam is the aggressor, kind of like how in my Robbie and Miguel video, where I was basically deciding like who was the aggressor there, like who started the beef. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. You know, it's really good. And it basically just describes like who in each season was the main one who started the conflict. I feel like in this season, in season 2, I feel like it was mainly Sam, only because she not only kissed Miguel, but she was accusing Tori of this like huge accusation of like stealing her property that could have had like her wallet or like money in it, like actual important stuff. So like that is a huge accusation, and the fact that she was wrong about it makes her look even worse. I feel like fundamentally though, as the season went on, you started to understand how different Tori and Miguel were. And I feel like their relationship was never actually going to last, only because when you look at Miguel, he may have a dark edge to him in terms of like he can get really mad, very vindictive, like he did in season 1 when he's screwed over, kind of like Tori. But I feel like Miguel channels it more in a proper fashion when it comes to like a tournament setting than Tori does, because Tori, she just kind of crashes out. Like she literally started the whole school fight because of a kiss. Like I feel like that fundamentally is not something that Miguel would have done. Like he wouldn't have done anything on that scale. He would have just fought Robbie. It would have been 1v1 like it usually is, and it wouldn't have gotten to that degree. The only reason Miguel even got into the school fight situation is because of Robbie attacking Tori when they were still together. But and also he felt bad about the fact that he kissed Sam, so he felt like it was an obligation. Well, he would have wanted to help her anyway, is what I mean to say. I don't want to make that sound some type of way, but I feel like Miguel wants to present himself as a really good dude, you know, even though he's a part of Cobra Kai, he wants to show that he's not an asshole, and that's why he brought back the Medal of Honor when Hawk stole it, and Hawk is his best friend. So it shows like, even though he's around all these people that are reinforcing this worldview of like, strike first, strike hard, no mercy, yada yada yada, he's still a good dude, and he's still going to do the right thing regardless, which I like. But I feel like Tori, because she is screwed over, she's going to do the wrong thing because that's what she feels like she needs to do in order to get even. I feel like Miguel was never really truly meant to be just a Cobra Kai student, and I feel like he should have always had like a little bit of Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai training, because he can mix both styles very well, as seen in like season 4 and 5 and 6 as well. Like he is one of the best students, if not the best student, like of the younger cast in the entire franchise, honestly. And that's why like he's definitely one of the strongest, but he's also one of the best like mentally, in terms of like his mentality and stuff like that. And that's why he wins a lot. And a lot of people, you know, call it plot armor, yada yada, whatever, but no, it's not that. It's just he's honestly one of the first people in the series who actually gets training, so it makes logical sense that he would be one of the strongest because he has some of the most experience. Also, he's being trained by Johnny, Daniel, a little bit of Chosen, you know, he's getting a little bit of everything, which is good. My point with this is, I feel like fundamentally Tori is one of those characters where if she's set on a specific mindset, she's going to stick with that, and it's going to be hard for her to adjust because her life has been one way for a long time. So her having to change her mindset or like learn new stuff on top of what she already knows is going to be very difficult. That's why when she's talking to Miguel about, you know, the fact that, you know, life isn't fair and we have to take what we can, and, you know, we have to fight for ourselves and yada yada yada, that, you know, stuff that she said, I think in episode 6, it makes perfect sense, because at the end of the day, that's how our life has been, and that's what she's had to do in order to survive, is fight for herself and protect the people that she cares about. She's also a very loyal character, and that's why she sticks with Kreese for so long, and that's why when Miguel cheated on her, she didn't even visit him in the hospital, because, you know, she didn't even know what to say to him. It's like, that's a trauma response, I feel like. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, no, I'm not necessarily saying that it was okay for her to just not see her boyfriend in the hospital after he almost got killed, but I'm saying specifically, I understand why she was upset in the moment, especially when she has to like take care of 2 other people in her life that are family, like actual immediate family, and Miguel is just like not in the condition to really do much of anything. Like, she can't do anything for him. She doesn't have the funds to, you know, help him out with the surgery or anything. Like, you know, she could visit him, but again, she has to work a job and stuff like that. It's like, I understand her plight as much as I understand Miguel's situation. Now, in season 3, she was just a cartoon villain, I have to be honest. She wasn't like much of anything else. She did go back to Cobra Kai after Kreese helped her out with the landlord situation, so that does show her loyalty to Kreese. But I mean, that she was a cartoon villain in that season, I gotta be honest. Especially Sam was literally having nightmares about her. Like, she was literally Freddy Krueger, essentially. Like, she was just a cartoon villain in that season, and she technically tried to kill her again in the finale of season 3. So it's just like, not much character development with that. Season 4 was significantly better because we actually got to see her interact with Amanda, who is Sam's mother. So it's like, I do like how, even though she destroyed her house, Tori or Amanda was actually able to see the good in Tori and see that, okay, this is a woman, or a young woman who's going through a lot, who has, multiple jobs and is just trying to, get by and protect and take care of her loved ones who are, under her protection and under her, just care. So it's like, I do like that motherly aspect of Amanda actually coming in and actually trying to come in clutch for Tori, when even Sam couldn't, because Sam, only saw the bad sides of Tori. But other characters, like I said before, other characters can see the good in Tori, can see, her good positive traits. One good thing I could say about Tori in season 4 is the fact that she actually did not want to win against Sam the way she did. And once she realizes that the ref was paid off by Silver, she is genuinely upset, like genuinely sad about the fact that she never actually got a true win against Sam. And all the fighting that she did the entire season, trying to keep herself afloat when it comes to the job situation and trying to get back into school, all of that in order to, lead up to her, fighting in the tournament, it basically meant nothing, because like, it was a free win. It was a fake ass win. You even get to see in season 5 that Tori, was told by Robbie like how much Cobra Kai brainwashes you, but even then she really could not, she didn't want to hear that, because at the end of the day, Cobra Kai is what she needed. Like, Cobra Kai is the dojo that fits Tori the most, obviously, out of like Eagle Fang, which is like the Miguel type, and with Miyagi, or Miyagi-Do, which is like more so for Sam, or like, I guess you could say for Robbie, and like Dimitri and stuff like that. So it makes more sense for her to want to be in Cobra Kai. I feel like her main issue was the fact that it was under Silver's teachings, and that was the main issue. But when she was under Johnny's teachings, she had no issue with that. And obviously in season 2, Kreese was involved as well, so that was probably mainly who she wanted to learn from, and that's where her development and her bond with Kreese started to like grow and develop. Because at the end of the day, I feel like she never necessarily had the bond with Johnny that's like other characters did, like Miguel, and that's what led her down this path, that she never developed that with other better senseis. Like, if she developed this with Daniel, I feel like she would be in a better position than she is like when we see her in season 5, where she's in Cobra Kai, the bad side of karate, and Silver's involved and stuff like that. Like, she'd be in a way better position now if she was taught by a different sensei, one of the other two. I think over time, obviously, Tori started to realize how toxic Cobra Kai really was for her, and when Kim made her, break the like stone with her bare fist, that is what it was, like brick or stone or something like that. That's what really like sent her over the edge, because she started to realize, like, okay, I am going to get punished. I'm going to be treated like trash if I stay in this dojo, and I'm going to be put through hell if I'm not basically a soldier, a mindless, brainless, just like emotionless soldier that uses nothing but mainly rage, and that's basically it. That rage that develops in people is the same thing that corrupts Hawk, Robbie, Miguel when they go through it in life, and when they have their specific situations that are unique to them. You can even add Johnny into this scenario, because in 84 he probably had his own things going for him, that are going against him, that were forcing him into Cobra Kai. Like, when you actually see Cobra Kai the TV series, you see he had a bad childhood. His mother wasn't a good mother, very much like how Robbie's mother wasn't good to him. So you can really see why he wanted to join Cobra Kai, to sort of find some peace in the world and stuff like that. And Kreese was like a father to him, kind of like how you can see Tori, like Kreese is like a father to Tori. But once she realizes how bad Cobra Kai is, she decides to leave, and that's when she meets up with Sam. She tries to make amends, and Sam rejects that. Obviously tries to fight her, because she perceives Tori as like dangerous still, because she doesn't really believe the fact that she can actually change. And when you look at the evidence in season 3 mainly, you can kind of understand why. But seeing Tori's perspective, it is kind of troubling, because she is like trying to reach out to her, and it does suck at the end of the day. It's kind of similar to like Miguel apologizing to Robbie kicking him off the railing. It's like, I understand both sides. It's like, Robbie's pissed off, because his whole life has been uprooted, and Miguel's kind of partially the blame for that. I could even say mainly the blame, actually, him and Johnny. And Miguel's just trying to make amends, do what he can, very much like Tori and Miguel are in the same like boat with that. But once they actually start teaming up, and Robbie and Miguel and the rest of the gang are in the dojo, they're able to get the footage. They expose, you know, Silver for what he is and how he basically was manipulating Tory when it comes to the whole ref situation, because they had the footage of them talking about it and him basically exposing himself for the piece of crap that he is, and it was in front of all the students, so they ended up turning on him and seeing him in a different light, and that's, you know, when the whole finale happened. So you can really see she had a turning point, and she started to realize, okay, Cobra Kai is, you know, not a good dojo under specific people. And when you look at Terry Silver, for example, he's one of the most evil characters in the entire series, so it makes perfect sense why she would start to see him for what he is. And with Kreese, she, you know, it took her a little bit longer, and obviously he did basically abandon her from her, you know, perspective, so obviously she dropped him as well, and I wish that was permanent, you know, in season 6. But obviously, besides that, by the end of season 5, she was in a better mindset, and she was in a healthier place when it comes to all the characters like Robbie, Miguel, Sam, and everyone else. And she was on the right track. Like, at the end of the day, she wasn't going to be teaching under, she wasn't going to be learning under Terry Silver or Kreese. She dropped both of them, and she's not a part of Cobra Kai. So honestly, she could join Miyagi-Do or Eagle Fang, or she could just do her own thing, and now she actually has a future until season 6. Now, season 6 as a whole, I feel like fundamentally really ruined a lot of the characters, or at least ruined the atmosphere of the show, and made the quality of the show worse overall when it comes to the choreography, some of the cinematography, some of the character work, and just some of the acting was kind of strange as well. But putting that to the side, because I feel like fundamentally all the characters, or all the actors, do very well, especially Peyton List. This is probably her best performance I think I've seen of her ever, as Tory, because, you know, she really nails it when it comes to her acting when she loses her mother, and, you know, she lashes out at the class, I think in episode 4 or 5, before they go to the Sekatekai. You know, I really liked her acting in this, but I don't like, you know, the situations that she's put in, because it's not only damages her character, but it damages the other characters. So let me start off with the first element of it, like the first couple episodes. I feel like it is very realistic that she's not fully okay with Sam, and the fact that, you know, Sam is hanging around, you know, Robbie, and she has to be around Miguel as well, because those two are basically cool now. So they tried to do like the double date thing, and it didn't really work out, because, you know, everyone still has history with one another, and you're hanging out with your exes, so obviously that's going to be awkward, especially when the way even like Miguel and Tory broke up was like very abrupt, and I feel like it wasn't handled in a very like positive, it wasn't a positive situation. Like, those two definitely have some stigma, or Tory probably definitely has some stigma towards Miguel for that, and you can kind of just feel that with the way she responds to him and stuff like that. But like I said before, Tory is fit for Cobra Kai, but when it comes to Miyagi-Do, she's not necessarily fit for that, you know, form of karate. So the fact that she has to abruptly switch because, you know, Terry Silver was a part of it, he's freaking evil, so she kind of just has to leave, increases in jail, and, you know, she feels like, again, from her perspective, that he abandoned her. So, you know, when you really have the character in a situation like this, of course they're not going to necessarily fit in quite well, but they feel like they have to. And I'll say even one of the strongest parts of this entire season, these 5 episodes, is when she actually apologizes to Sam, and they have that heart-to-heart when they're outside and stuff like that. And it was during like the sleepover episode when Johnny was trying to get them to get along, and they actually ended up getting along, and they both talked about all the events that happened all the way in season 2, and I really like that, because it brought us all the way back to why everything is happening to begin with, and it handles it in a proper fashion that's not only realistic, but it covers all of the bases for what those two were beefing about to begin with. It's something I actually wanted from the Miguel and Robbie confrontation, but we didn't necessarily get that. Now, my whole thing is, I feel like the back injury, you know, Robbie kicking him off the railing was the main thing that was left in terms of the rivalry being continued, and that's why Miguel was the instigator in season 5, because he still had, you know, a stigma towards Robbie for being someone who would do that. But and again, that's in the Miguel and Robbie beef video, so go watch that. But when it comes to this, I really do think that, Tori had potential, in Miyagi-Do, and the fact that those two made up. I really like where the show was going until they basically uprooted the fact that she was in Miyagi-Do, and then she just quit to join the Sekai Tekai with Cobra Kai. Now, I can safely say that Tori joining Cobra Kai is one of the worst decisions that the show has ever made, and the problem is I feel like the show doesn't understand that. So I feel like when it comes to her arc, it's going to have something to do with the fact that she cannot get over the fact that she needs Cobra Kai because Cobra Kai fits her more, which again is rehashing the other seasons, which I already went through. And that's how I basically, this is why this video is so damn long, because I need to go over the other seasons and then go over season 6 to show you the contrast behind the writing of the other seasons versus this season. As I mentioned before, I said that if Tori had a different mentor that she stuck with, that she had a bond with, that she saw as a father figure, that her part in the series would be completely different. And I said specifically Daniel, but I actually think Johnny should be that guy, only because he technically almost was that guy, because he was the sensei of Cobra Kai. He was technically the main one until Kreese took over, and I feel like if she got more of a Johnny perspective of things, she would have. And honestly, I don't even know if she would have listened back in season 2 because of her mindset and how her life was. But in season 5 and 6, it would have been a lot better for her to get Johnny's perspective more so of how karate should be and how she should, learn and stuff like that, rather than her just joining Miyagi-Do. I don't even like the fact that it was just named Miyagi-Do and Johnny doesn't get his shine with the fact that it could be partially his brand as well, with like it being named like Miyagi Fang. It just takes away his portion in his contribution. So it's like the fact that Tori also cannot really train mainly from Johnny. It really irritates me because she's not getting a replacement for Cobra Kai and that mentality of strike first, strike hard, no mercy. I also think that if her and Johnny were actually training and she was getting stronger, that she could also talk to Miguel, since he's also training under Johnny. I feel like this is one of the main issues with the whole idea behind Daniel being right about her not fighting in the Sekai Tekai or even with training, is because when it comes to her mindset right now and why she joined Cobra Kai after Daniel ended up getting his way and having Tori not fight, she feels like fundamentally she doesn't have that father figure that she has with Kreese, and the dynamic that they have with any other character like Johnny or Daniel, and she wasn't able to develop that in other seasons. So she fundamentally is missing something that she had before that she felt more comfortable with, and that's why she went back to Kreese even afterwards. Now the problem is she was never really given a alternative to fighting with Sam, because in my personal opinion, if she wasn't going to fight Sam, I feel like she should have fought one of the senseis and she could have got her frustration out, and then maybe they could have trained afterwards. Now if that didn't work, then maybe she could just not fight and maybe Robbie could talk to her or one of the other characters and kind of make her feel better, or like just see if she's okay, or if she needs assistance to some degree, if they can get her anything or whatever, just be there for her. But I feel like them not going through all those steps is the reason that she joined Cobra Kai to begin with. The problem is, I feel like they were out of character, and that is a huge issue with season 6 as a whole. But it kind of forces Tori to regress as a character so that the plot can happen. I just hope that in part 2 they don't repeat the same mistakes that they did with part 1 when it comes to all the characters in general. Even with some of the fights, I hope they're A1 and they're some of the best fights that we've ever seen in the entire franchise, because this is the end, man. This is the end game. As Dr. Strange said once, we're in the end game now, so I want to see some fantastic fights. I hope Tori is one of those fantastic fights. And I hope that she learns at the end of the day that Cobra Kai is not the dojo for her, and that she can do many great things under like Johnny's teachings or somebody else, or maybe she could just quit karate and then focus on something more important for her, or something along those lines. Now, what I think they might do is if she does, like, I don't know, win the Sekai Tekai, maybe she'll end up getting money from that. Because I'm pretty sure they do give you like a reward for winning, and she could use that towards helping her mom out, or not her mom, her brother out, since her mom did die. So you know, because they didn't really talk about the brother at all. Maybe he was put in foster care, I don't know, but like I'm assuming he still lives in that same house, so she does have to take care of him. So you know, that actually could help her, and it could help it can help both of them, honestly. And obviously she's not gonna like join, she's not gonna go to college or anything, but it could definitely help her get back on her feet after, you know, such a loss, like losing her mother and stuff like that. So they might do that, or they might just make her have an arc to where like she essentially realizes being a part of this dojo is not good, having Kreese in my life is not good, and that I need to go back to the people who actually care about me. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say in this video. Comment, subscribe, like. Let me know what you think about Tory as a character. Let me know what your favorite season of Tory is, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 currently. If you like what they're doing with her in season 6, I really want to know, because honestly, I think they're selling with her as a character. Like this is horrible, honestly, and it really comes down to the fact that I really don't think the decision for her to not fight was good, because it led her to the fact that it led her to the point where she's literally fighting for Cobra Kai just so she could be in the Sekai. Like that was probably the worst decision that Daniel's ever made, or that any character has ever made, and it sucks. And even Robbie didn't do anything to help her, like talk to her or anything after he found out. So it's just kind of like this whole season as a whole is just very freaking irritating. And I just hope that it gets better. I hope the fight's really good. I hope that, you know, mainly number one, the character stuff is good, because again, that was the main aspect of what makes Cobra Kai as a whole work, or the franchise. Like even the first Karate Kid, I don't care about the fights at all. I don't care about Daniel, you know, training necessarily, or like him defeating Dutch, or like any of these other characters, or Johnny. I care about him. Like I like the end results, but I like him like growing as a character, and you know, growing, being taught by Mr. Miyagi, you know, stuff like that. Like that's the type of stuff I like, to where, and you get to see his relationship with Allie grow, and you know, eventually even Johnny starts to respect him. Like I like the idea behind Johnny's arc, and the fact that he grows as a person, and that Kreese is really the main villain behind his bullying, because he's the one who trained him to be this way. I like that aspect of things, rather than, you know, the fights and all the other flashy stuff as a whole. But yeah, let me just end this now. It's been like a half an hour, my god. Yeah, so comment, subscribe, like, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys later.
No way, Jose.
Red Hot Gotsy, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.